Okay, we'll sing the song called as Ebaro Karuna Karo. So anybody, one person can repeat on the voice. Ebara Karuna Kara Vaishnava Gosai.
Evara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai.
Ebara Karuna Kara Vaishnava Gosai.
Evara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai.
Patita Pavana Toma Bina Kehana Ay.
पतिता पवना तुम्हा बिने के होना
Jahara Nikete Gele Papa Dure Jai. Jahara Kate
गे पापा धुरे जा
Emana Dayala Prabhu ke Bakota Pai.
मना दयाला प्रभु के बाको थाई पा
Gangara Parasha Haile Pashate Pavan.
Gangara parasha hoile pashate pava
Gangara Parasha Haile Pashate Pavan.
Gangara parasha hoile pashate pava
Darshane Pavitra Karai Tomar Gun.
Dashane pavitra karo ei tomar gu
Haristane Aparade Tare Hari Naam.
Krishna aparadhe Radhe Hari Naam
Tomastane Aparade Nahi Paritran.
Tomastane aparadhe Nahi paritra
Tomara Hridaye Sada Govinda Vishram.
Tumhara hridaye sada Govinda Vishram
Govinda Kahena Mora Vaishnava Paran.
Govinda kahe na ora Vaishnava para
Prati Janme Kari Asha Charane Raduli. Prati Janme
More asa Sarane radhuli
Narottame koro daya apnar boli.
चलो तमे करो दया अपना रबो
Ebara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai. Ebara
करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई
Ebara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai.
एवर करुणा करो वैष्णव गोसाई
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
जय गौरानिताय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय
Jaya Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan Radhe.
जय राधा मदन मोहन राधे
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद
Jai Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Dai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So first and foremost, welcome to this Gita Club Vanar Sena class. Thank you very much, Saurabh Prabhu and Vishaka Mataji, for putting this Google Meet together. Seems like the most easiest way. It is very easy to join in. And I already see that the record button is on, so that is even much more better. So just wanted to quickly ask, so who is recording this? Because I would like to put it on my YouTube as well, so you might have to send it back to me.
Prabhuji, I am recording it. It will
Ah,
be on Google Drive. I'll be sharing a link.
perfect. Okay, thank you very much. So, welcome once again at 3 p.m. It's a very difficult slot where many of you might have had your lunch, and it's a time that the way I speak, it is very normal that people might get induced with sleep. And with its a virtual lecture, it's more even more easier to go to sleep, right? But let us try to be awake for at least an hour and try our level best so that we can learn something new from the Shastras. So we have been seeing over the course of 2 weeks, the last week we have been seeing about, we touched on the topic of the 24 spiritual masters or the song of Avadhuta. So today we'll be continuing with that session. That said, I also gave a small homework last time, and many people might be biting their tongue now, imagining that what the homework was or they forgot. But I have been hearing that you are all good Vanasena devotees. All of you have completed your homework, so we will try to um, get to that as well. For those who do not know what the homework was, you've been extremely patient and listening. But yeah, let's see. Let's see how it goes when we come there. So, a quick rule of check. Did everybody were able to do the homework? Can anyone tell me what was the homework? Anyone on this list? Vishaka says yes. Vishaka is always on the number one slot. Vishaka says yes. What about others? Deadful silence. Pranav, Surabhi said yes. They found one. What was anybody can come out of the microphone and they can come and speak. It need not be a monologue session. One person dropped out of the meeting. Oh my God, homework. I'm going away.
We had
Yes.
to find the sloka on Mother Earth.
Okay, you had to find a sloka on Mother Earth. Okay, very good. Anybody who couldn't find it, don't worry about it. Maybe you'll find it. Right, but we'll talk about it when we reach there. But thank you for those who did the research, those who put the effort to find one shloka on Mother Earth. We'll try to listen to them as when we reach. So let's start today's session. Let's start with the invocation prayers. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapatakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are welcome all of you again. We are discussing this topic from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are talking about a conversation which is happening between Krishna and Uddhava. We last week saw this lecture I'll do a quick recap and a summary study. Last week, we spoke about how this conversation is happening. We spoke about that after all the pastimes of the Lord were completed, it was time for the Lord to go back home, back to Godhead. That is, he wanted to go back to his spiritual abode, and he was residing in Dwarka, where all the demigods, headed by Brahma, Shiva, and all the Apsaras, everybody came down to see Lord Krishna in Dwarka. This was a very unique moment because even though the Devas and Devaganas, they actually see Krishna every day, they still wanted to see him in the world of human beings, because there, even to get the darshan of his lotus feet is very difficult. Here he was roaming around in the city of Dwarka, and the Dwarka Vasis were actually seeing him day and day and out in his full embodiment form as a supreme personality of Godhead. So they came with a lot of flowers, heavenly flowers and garlands, and they came and met Dwarkadish. And then Dwarkadish was constantly telling his Yadu dynasty to actually fold up their pastimes and go to Prabhasa Kshetra. We saw in the last lecture that how Shamba did a mischief with a sage, and how the sage punished that whatever metal object that they have kept hidden under the tummy of Shamba, that will become one of the most principal reasons to kill the Yadu dynasty. And we saw how the Prabhasa Kshetra, the forest of Prabhasa, which is near Veraval, Gujarat, as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had pointed out in his lectures. And Srila Prabhupada also writes in his purports that his Guru Maharaj, Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, has found out where those exact trees were, where the hunter called Jara, who was Brigu, who actually shot this arrow. All these details were actually spoken about. So after all this, Krishna had decided that he is going back, and he sent everybody to Prabhasa Kshetra. So while everybody complied, there was one devotee within Dwaraka who was non-different in looks and in attire and in demeanor to Krishna, who was none other than Uddhava. So Uddhava got the scent of what is going to happen, and he approached Lord Krishna, and he fell down at his feet and he said, I cannot stay without you. While you are going, please take me along with you. Krishna said, my pastimes which I had to conduct here, Paritranaya Sadhunam, Vinashaya cha Dushkritam, both are complete. I have annihilated all the miscreants, and at the same point of time, I have protected all the devotees. So my job is complete. However, Uddhava, your job is still remaining. So, question to the audience: what was the instruction given to Uddhava? What was he told? Anybody? We saw this instruction last week that he was given a special instruction before the Lord went back home. Yes, Utkarsha absolutely correctly says it is that he was told to preach and practice Bhakti Yoga. That is the essence of the instruction. Very correctly said, Utkarsha. And where was he told to practice this? Any answers on that? Where was he told? Yes, Ravi is absolutely correct. He was told to go to Badrikashram near Nar Narayan Rishi's center, which is in Uttarakhand. Why was he told to go to Badrikashram only? Why not Jagannath Puri? Why not Vrindavan? We spoke about that as well. Good, I'm very happy everybody remembers. Any reason? In fact, you can imagine Badrikashram now and you can give that answer. Anybody? Why he was told? And you can even unmute yourself and speak. You don't need to always type. It's okay. Anybody? He was told to go to Badrikashram because Krishna said that in the area of Himalayas, there are a lot of sages who are practicing other forms of devotional service. Yes, very correct. Ravi has said correctly, to preach Bhakti Yoga to even others who are performing other types of yogas like Hatha Yoga, and devotional services in a different way. He wanted Uddhava to establish this devotional service. So that was one of the reasons. So very correct. So Uddhava was told this instruction. However, before leaving, Uddhava said, please give me some instructions which I can personally take. So these personal instructions coming from the spiritual master, coming from Krishna, are very, very important, because these personal instructions are like the very seeds which are sown in the heart. I was listening to a lecture just a couple of days back, and there was an introduction which was given to one of Radha Govind Maharaj's lectures. A very prominent speaker spoke about a verse which was very beautiful, and it kind of summarized how these personal instructions are the very life and soul of a disciple. The personal instruction, he was actually mentioning about a shloka. The shloka was that the question was asked to the sages, where is nectar, Amrit, nowadays in this planet Earth? So when this question was asked, where is nectar on this planet Earth? Many of them said that nectar is there in the ocean. Why it is there in the ocean? Why they said? We all know the story of Samudra Manthan, where the churning of the ocean happened and many items came. Uchir Lakshmi, Parijata, Halahala, poison. And one of the things that they came which they were yearning to get was the Amrit, which then Mohini took it off, and then we know the pastimes of Samudra Manthan. So many people say that the nectar is found in the ocean. Some others said, no, no, the nectar is not found in the ocean, it is found in the moon planet. That is why all the Devas, the Indras, and everybody drink Somarasa. And they drink this nectarian Somarasa and Amrit, because Devas, the demigods, actually, for them, Charnamrit is always Somarasa. They always drink Charnamrit also, but then their natural beverage is not Coca Cola or Pepsi. It is actually none other than Somarasa. So they said that it is there in the moon planet. Many others said, no, no, I don't think so. It's there in the moon planet. It is actually there in the planet of the Nagas, the serpents, the snakes. Why are you saying that it is there in the place of serpents? Because they said, have you not heard Mahabharat? When Duryodhana and Bhima were young, Duryodhana mixed poison in the laddus and gave it to Bhima. And Bhima ate those laddus and he fell fainted inside the river and he started drowning and he went almost up to the Nagaloka. And the serpent lokas, they had Amrit stored in their fridge, very cold Amrit. And they saw that Bhima is falling down. He's the Vayu Putra, the son of Vayu and Kunti's Putra. So they immediately took out the pot of Amrit and started giving him one katori. Bhima said, I need more. Like that, he drank 100 pots and he got 10,000 elephants' bal, strength. So many said that Amrit is found in Nagaloka, the serpent Loka. And then many others said, actually, no, though these places are true, I think the nectar or Amrit is found in the words of a newly wedded wife. Not many of you have gone through marriage, but generally they say that the newly wedded wife's word, Navavadu's wife's words, are as sweet as nectar. Maybe they know what is coming next after some time. But that is just a joke. But then they said that, yes, sometimes the newly wedded wife's words are very nectarian in nature. So these were the four places which were actually said. The place number one was called as the ocean. Place number two was the moon. Place number 3 was the serpent abode, the Naga's planet. And place number 4, where the nectar is found, was mentioned as in the lips and the words of a newly wedded wife. However, the acharyas mention that actually nectar is not found in all these 4 places, and they give reasons why it is so. They say it is not found in the ocean because what is the taste of the ocean water? It is salty. Because the ocean water is salty in nature, and if it contains really the nectar, the sweetness of the nectar should mix with the water of ocean and give us very sweet, palatable water. But then we do not get sweet, palatable water. We actually get very salty water. So, since we get salty water, it is definitely not the residing place for the Amrit or nectar. And hence, they rejected the proposal that nectar is available in the ocean. Then they came to moon. They said that if it is available in moon, the nectar, then definitely moon should be immortal. That means it should be always living. But we see that the moon goes on waxing and waning from Paurnami to Paurnami. Its age decreases, I mean, or its size or shape decreases, and finally in Amavasya we do not see the moon at all. It's as if the death of the moon has happened. No moon, no moonlight. So the sages say that just because the moon is doing waxing and waning, seems like the Amrit is not there, because if it is there, it will act on the moon, and hence there will be no waxing and waning. So definitely it's not there as well. And what about the serpent loka, the place where the serpents reside? They say Amrit cannot be found in the serpent loka because what does the serpent give when it bites us? Do we become alive, energetic? Is it like a glucose strength that we get? Yes, Pranav, absolutely right. It gives us poison. And when poison is given by the fangs of the serpent, we do not feel the Amrit is residing there as well. So the nectar does not reside in Amrit as well. Sorry, in the fangs of the serpent as well. So it's not there in the serpent loka. Finally, the most contested Navavadhu's words, the newly wedded wife's words. They say it is not available in her words also because the husband had to meet his death whenever the time comes. If her words are really the Amrit, then her husband should always live eternally, but that does not happen. Any husband, whoever, whomsoever it might be, how much ever powerful that person might be, that person has to meet his death ultimately. So that Amrit of immortality cannot be given by the Navavadhu. So the Amrit is not there in the ocean, it is not there in the moon, it is not there in the Naga's planet, and it is not there in the words of the youngly wedded wife. So, where is the nectar? The devotees say, the sages and the acharyas say, the nectar is there in the throat of those Bhagavatas, those devotees who speak about the glories of the Lord, which when we actually hear and when we relish, we are transported from this material world and we are transported to the spiritual world, and our repeated birth and death is actually finished by those words. And when the spiritual master speaks, it enters into the heart of a devotee and it becomes the most important personal instructions, and they become the Amrit for a person to live in this material world. So, this was a very beautiful introduction which was given before a talk of Radha Govind Swami. I felt it was very nice. It was a right introduction to speak before a Bhagavatam lecture. So, hence, here Uddhava is similarly asking for such nectarian instructions. That's why we always use this word, and Srila Prabhupada writes it in his purports that all the instructions he mentions it as nectarian instructions. This is very important for us to know. So Uddhava asks him, please give me some personal instructions. And hence he starts the story of a conversation between Yadu and an Avadhuta. Now, we spoke about who is an Avadhuta. An Avadhuta is a personality who is a self realized soul who does not follow social norms. He does not care how many likes he has in Facebook. He does not care how many of his posts are shared on YouTube. He does not care whether his Instagram profile is trending or not. He will trend all over the planet, but still he will not be concerned about its activities. He may keep social distancing, he may not keep social distancing. He may come close to people or he may stay far away from them for time immemorial. Nobody can understand at any given point of logic what that self realized soul would do. For outwardly looking people, for people who look outward characteristics of a person, they might believe that an Avadhuta is equivalent to a madman. Sometimes he will cry, sometimes he will laugh. When he laughs, he will laugh for many, many hours. When he cries, he might cry for many days. Sometimes he will roll on the floor, sometimes he will dance in ecstasy. Such characteristics are the characteristics of Avadhuta. They are completely absorbed in the spiritual world. Their body is there in this material world and moving around, but their activities are constantly engaged in the spiritual world. We come across such Avadhuta in Chaitanya Charitamrita as Nityanand Mahaprabhu, and he exhibits so many different qualities that he is also called as Avadhuta. So we heard Sri Krishna actually narrating this pastime to Uddhava, where Yadu, who was the ancestor in the Yadava dynasty. Now, Yadu is the ancestors in whose dynasty Krishna himself has come. That's why Krishna is also called as Yadavanandan. So, Yadukula. He comes in the Kula or the family lineage of Yadus. So, Yadava. He's also a Yadava. So, he's mentioning about his ancestry that once Yadu, who was a very self realized soul. So, see, not everybody can understand who is an Avaduta. Not me and you can understand Avadutas because they say in English, there is a saying in English, to know one, you have to be one. That means किसी को परखने के लिए हमें उनकी तरह होना बहुत जरूरी है. To know gold or diamond, you have to be a goldsmith. You should know what is a gold or a diamond. We cannot generally look at brass and say that it is gold because we might not have the intelligence or the knowledge behind us to differentiate between what is brass and what is gold. So, similarly, it is important for us to know one, we have to be one. So, similarly, here one day Yadu actually saw that this Avadhuta Brahmana, who is none other than Dattatreya, the son of Anasuya, Atri, who is none other than the Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh together. He was, as a Brahmana, he was just loitering in front of Yadu. And everybody thought he's a madman. And when they thought that he was a madman, many people came before him and they did not even react to him. But Yadu understood that he seems like a madman, but he has got very attractive features on his body. He's looking very beautiful. He has got attractive limbs. He has got the six pack on him. And he, at the same point of time, is not engaged in doing any materialistic activities. So Yadu, very humbly folding his hands in a very humble fashion, goes and begs at this personality and says, that seems like you have a very great bliss which is there in your heart. Can you please tell me? You look like a self realized soul. It doesn't look like you are a materialistic madman. See, one of the key essential learnings from this pastime before even he starts narrating is the very way how Yadu, King Yadu, approached the Brahmana, Avadhuta. He folded his hands and he approached him, which is a sign of humility. Humility is not an external process, it is something that comes within our heart naturally. When we feel that the Lord is very great, when we actually feel the Lord is very wonderful and we have nothing to do, we are so helpless. In fact, when we think we are great, we have so much abilities, we have so much capabilities, then we think that, we become proud. But when we actually think we are helpless and it is only by the costless mercy of the Lord that we are existing in this world, and whatever ability Krishna is giving, we are able to speak, then humility develops as a small, tiny bit. While humility might develop, its constant presence is more important. And its constant presence is an natural cultivating habit that we should have. It's not easy. Definitely, it is difficult. Humility to always be dawning upon us is very difficult, but we should practice this habit. There is a small story that I remember on humility where once there was an orphan and he was traveling around the city because there was nobody to take him or adopt him. And one day he came and knocked on the door of a very wealthy man who had many servants of the same age as his. And when he saw this orphan, the rich man asked this question, "Who are you and what do you want?" And the orphan said that, "Look, I have nobody. I would like to do some kind of service here and there and earn my livelihood." The rich man said, "Okay, from tomorrow you can start working." So every day, this orphan, he was a very good person. He was very meticulous. He was very articulate in his work. He was very um, paka. So what he used to do is he used to report on duty on time, and he used to execute all his duties properly, and then he used to go back and stay in his quarters and spend his time. So much so that he became one of the best workers in that mansion of that rich man. Every day, the rich man would be so pleased by the activities of this orphan that he gave him special attention and special nourishment and special care to this orphan. Obviously, when somebody is given very special care and others are not, it is common in this material world. We see that a quality develops in ours hearts, which is none other than enviousness or jealousiness. And we do not need any other source of looking into enviousness and jealousiness. Let me tell you, it is one of the greatest modes by which people sell products to us these days. If you remember some of the advertisements, the most famous advertisement was Rin. And what did they say? Iski sari se safed kaise? How can her sari be more whiter than my sari? Why not? That person might have washed that sari 3 times. This person might have washed the sari 2 times. So 3 times washing with soap will make it more whiter. But no, they will ask this question, "उस तेरी साड़ी मेरी साड़ी से सफेद कैसे?" This is pure enviousness. And looking at that, the customers will feel, yeah, my sari should be much, much better than anybody else's Sunday program's kurta or sari. So let me buy Rin. If at all that Rin can be used in our heart and washed away that enviousness. But that nobody will talk about. Then they have commercials on Onida TV. Onida TV, where a devil will come. Who is selling us? The devil. What a perfect representation of TV. A devil with two horns is selling that, please buy this TV. At least by that we should understand that TV is devil. We should not look at it. Nowadays, I think Onida should that devil should come and transport to our Netflix and our YouTubes and our laptops also. That devil will come and say, owner's pride, neighbor's envy. That is the tagline. At least those people who follow brands should know that. Owner's pride. That means if you have it, you will become proud. One of the qualities that Krishna is shouting and saying in Bhagavad Gita, you should not become proud. Owner's pride and neighbors envy. Neighbors will be very envious. You have that TV, I will get a better TV. 29-inch, 31-inch, 51-inch. Our house is only 60 inches, but our TV is 59-inch. 1 inch only we have to move around. I do not know what people do. So this is the enviousness which is there in people. And this enviousness is the direct opposite element of humility. So this person was living very nicely, and this nourishment he was getting from the rich man, and all others became very envious. So they started doing this chugli, that somehow or the other we have to ensure that our master actually favors us more than favoring this orphan. So what they used to do, they used to always follow this orphan's activities with a very, very, very sharp viewpoint in order to ensure that whenever he commits a mistake, we should go and tell our master. So they started following his activities, always keeping an eye on him, always finding out where he's doing, what he's doing. So this orphan had a habit. Every day after his work is over, he will go to his locker room. He will open his locker. He had a small box. He will open that box, see what is there in the box, sit there, reflect for 5 minutes, close the box, keep it inside the locker, close the locker, and go home. This was his daily ritual and habit that he used to do after his work. So everybody thought that there is something there in the locker. Maybe he's stealing money every day and keeping it in that box, and every day he's going back and counting the money. So one day, while this was happening, they all went to the master and complained this to the master. They said, you are thinking that you are doing such a great service by giving more and more appreciation to this person, but he's actually stealing your money. And this is what happens when envious people talk to us. It corrupts our mind. It corrupts our intelligence. Even if we have the intelligence to see what is good and what is bad, we get corrupted by envy as a nature. So this rich man, though he knew that this orphan will not do such a kind of work, but still, because of the constant pressure put by his colleagues, he actually called the orphan. And in a very chastising mood, he spoke to the orphan and he said, what are you doing? Are you stealing money? Are you going every day and opening the locker and stashing your money which I am giving you and which you are actually stealing from here and there from the rich mansion? I have got complaints about you. Please tell me what you are doing. Tell the truth right now. And everybody said, yes, yes, he's stealing money. You should look at it. And the orphan said, why don't you take a look at yourself? And he took them to the locker room. They opened the locker, they took out the box, and they opened the box. And what did they see? They saw that in the box, it was his old clothes that he wore on the day when he was an orphan. And he said, what are these? And at that time, the orphan said that these are nothing else than the first set of clothes that I wore when I was an orphan and I knocked on your door. At that time, I didn't have anything with me. And you, with your grateful heart, you accepted me as a menial servant. And because I am serving you, I am where I am. And because every day I am serving you nicely and you're giving me very good appreciation, I think that one day I will become very proud. And when I become very proud, all my activities will go south or all my activities will go wrong and I will commit mistakes. So, hence, every day as a ritual, I come back and open the box and see where my roots were, how was I, and I ensure that I am grounded on this Mother Earth and ensure I don't do any mistakes. So, this is what he mentioned to the rich man. And he said, every day I look at these clothes, which are torn clothes, which are my orphan clothes, and I am always grateful that you have accepted me as a menial servant. Looking at that, the rich man was very happy and he understood the real value of humility, of understanding where we are and who the Supreme Lord is. How grateful are we to become His servants? So we should always understand this knowledge. So this humility is the very nature which moves hearts, which melts hearts. If anybody has to be melted in their heart, you cannot give them nice roses on a Valentine's Day, or you cannot give them a $2 million carat diamond ring. You cannot give any physical material possession to move their hearts. Just being humble and loving can melt a person's heart. So, all those books that these modern Bollywood people write and Bollywood people actually showcase on love is all incorrect. Just being humble and truthful and serving the Lord, we can move the hearts of millions of people. So, that was the humility with which Yadu approached. Yadu actually reached this Avadhuta Brahmana. And that is the learning that we have, that we should understand that primarily we should approach the great renowned people with a lot of humility. And when he asked this question, the first answer that the Avadhuta Brahmana gave is that one should use their rationalized intelligence. Very clearly, he mentions in Srimad Bhagavatam. One should use the rationalized intelligence of looking at the Mother Nature and learning many things from them. And then Yadu asks, who are your spiritual masters? To which he starts narrating that my spiritual masters are 24 different elements on this planet Earth. And he starts speaking one by one. And we saw about Mother Earth. And he spoke how Mother Earth is the epitome and he is the symbol of forbearance, tolerance, and how the mountains and trees are the greatest examples of how it is tolerating. Even though evil is done to a person, it gives the ultimate shelter. It still takes care of them. There are two beautiful stories which I remember, which I wanted to mention in the last week and which I forgot to mention. But I think that this is the right moment because last week there was a lot of turbulence in terms of the connectivity. This is much more smoother. So I think I will narrate those two stories of how one should be tolerating enough that even if evil is committed to them, evil should not be committed in return. And we see Mother Earth having this forbearance and tolerance in nature. A very beautiful example comes in the Ramayana, where, and I think I have said this before, but then just for the sake of people who are listening in new, let's repeat this. We see that there was one personality in the kingdom of Lanka who flew all the way from Lanka and came to the shores near Rameshwaram. And he came with his ministers. In fact, many people say, Usne dal badal liya. Nowadays, it's a very common activity. People from one party move to another party. They don't go alone, they go to a resort. They carry their ministers along. So, this was happening from Ramayana times. One party was leaving another party, and this party came all the way, traveling across the ocean and coming to a camp. Nowadays, also, people go to resorts only. Wherever there is water, wherever there is swimming pool, they camp there. So, who was this person? who traveled from Lanka and came to Rameshwaram to say that I am going to surrender? Yes. Answer is Vibhishan. So when he was coming, he came with his mace. We came with his gada. And four other ministers, they also came along with him. And when he came at the shores, there were some Vanara Sena at the shores, and they looked at these people and they said, "Stop! Don't even touch your feet on the ground. You are all from the Asura clan, Rakshasa clan. So you cannot even touch your feet on the ground. Why are you here?" And they all said, "We are here to take shelter of Lord Ramchandra." He said, "But he has not called you. Did you get a WhatsApp message? Did you get email? Any memos? Any SMSs? Do you have the OTP with you?" No. No. He said, "Nothing doing. We have come all to surrender unto him." So they said, "Wait a second." Sugriva said, "You have to wait here. I am the watch guard of this camp. You cannot come inside. Wait here. I will go and tell Lord Ramchandra." And he went hurriedly and told Rama. Rama was sitting very coolly in his camp. And Sugriva came and said, "Jai Ramchandra." He said, "Yes, Sugriva, my friend. What news have you brought?" Then Sugriva said, "Ravan's." And when he heard Ravan, Lord Rama became very happy. "Ravan has come." He said, "No, no, Ravan's brother has come." "Okay. Can you give me his introduction?" So Sugriva said, I asked him the same question. Do you know how he gave his introduction? His introduction was very wonderful. See, generally somebody asks introduction, whose class it is, who is giving. Oh, the same Prabhuji. He says we will start the lecture, but he will speak for 45 minutes and not start the lecture. That Prabhuji, that Haridas Varya Prabhuji, he is the one. That's how we give introduction. Or we will say, that person in whose classes we get nice sleep. Even though we have not done the homework, we will say it homework, he will still not tell you anything. Those is the person. So such introductions we give. Similarly, Vibhishna also gave his introduction. He said, who are you? When Sugriva asked the question, then Vibhishna said, my brother has got many FIRs. In Nerul police station, in Seawoods police station, Belapur police station, Navi Mumbai, India wanted list, global wanted list. Everybody has got a FIR written about him. He is the number one gunda. He is the number one rascal of this planet Earth. His brother, his younger brother, my name is Vibhishan. This is the introduction Vibhishan gives. This again talks about the humility in which Vibhishana is saying, I am not a great person. I am coming from a very bad background. I have been associating with very worldly men, but still I seek your shelter. This is being truthful. So Rama got impressed by him at that juncture itself, listening from Sugriva how Vibhishana came. So immediately Rama said, okay, what is his need? Why is he here? He said he wants to accept shelter. Okay, he wants to surrender unto me. Should I give him surrender? What do you think, Sugriva? Sugriva says, no chance. Are you crazy? He is an enemy party. He comes inside our party means everybody of us will go rogue and he can know our secrets. We are not giving him surrender. He says, okay, Jambavan, what do you think? Jambavan says, I have got so much of knowledge, so many years I have been living. I am a senior citizen now in railway concessions. When it is going to open in June, I am going to get senior citizen tickets. I am a senior citizen. I am telling you, don't make him join your camp. It will be a havoc if Vibhishan joins your camp. Okay, Angada. Angad says, no chance. Please, I go by these two parties. They have the microphones. I don't have the microphone, even if I say, but then please don't allow them. And finally, he asks Hanuman. And Hanuman says, I think you should accept him. And Rama is very happy. And he says, Hanuman, why do you think that you are saying that I should accept Vibhishan? He says, I looked at his face. His face is very humble. Sugriva says, did you look that he brought a gada? Just like you are carrying one, he is also carrying one. He said, but did you look how he brought the gada? He didn't bring it like this. He brought it like this. That means he's accepting surrender. If he brought it like this, I would have understood that he's trying to hit you. But he didn't bring like that. He brought it keeping it down. But he bought four more people. He says he's such a nice preacher. Not only he comes to surrender, he brings four more people to surrender. So by all that means, I think he should be accepted. So at that time, Lord Rama gives the very famous sentence that even if Ravana comes and accepts and asks for shelter, I will provide shelter, even though he has committed evil against me. Sakriteva prapannaya tavasminti yachate abhayam sarvabhutevyo etat pratam mama. This is my vow. And he gives a small story. So there is a story inside a story inside a story. He says how we should not do evil to others, even though they commit evil to us, and how we should give shelter. So Lord Rama says, I will tell you a story, you all listen. And everybody says, okay, now Rama is going to tell a story, means we have to listen. What is the story? He says, once there was a hunter, and that hunter went into the forest to kill the birds. And on top of a tree, there was a male bird and a female bird. And this male bird and this female bird, they will loved each other crazily. And they both were in love. And every day, the female bird will take care of its fledglings, its younger ones, and the male bird will fly away from the branch to get the twigs and the food and everything. So one day, the male bird had flown from the nest and it went to catch some worms and food for the young fledglings and his wife. At that time, this hunter approached, and what he did is he captured all the young fledglings and put it in his nest, and he started going away. And when he started going away, he saw that the mother bird was also there, and he caught hold of the mother bird, the female bird, and also put in his nest. So now he had the fledglings, he had the mother bird, everybody in his nest. And he was going to go to his house. At that time, the clouds started rumbling and the rain started to fall. So he couldn't go through the forest in the rainy path. So he took shelter of the tree on which these birds were residing. Because it was raining, the male bird came back to the nest, and then it saw that its wife is missing, its fledglings are missing, and then he saw that the wife and the fledgling are both in the nest, in the trap, in the net of the hunter. And when he actually saw that they were in the net of the hunter, this male bird started speaking to his wife. He said, what happened? Why can't you come out? The wife said, no, I think this is destiny. We are bound. We were living together very well, but because of time, because of our destiny, I am trapped now. He said, but now what should we do? This person is standing right below. He said, but he is our guest. He is standing right below our tree. This is our house. Though he is our enemy, we should actually protect him and give him some kind of help. So the male bird understood that though this hunter has captured his own wife and sons and fledglings, he went out and captured he plucked lot of twigs and gave to the hunter to light a fire so that he feels warm in the rainy season. And the hunter understood that these twigs are actually given to keep myself warm. He lit a fire and he was warm and he was very grateful towards the male bird. Then the female bird said, maybe he's hungry now. And when he heard the word hungry, the male bird immediately jumped into the fire and said, why don't you offer me as your food? And the female bird also jumped into the fire. At that time, Rama says that if the birds can have such a kind of forbearance and have this tolerance, why cannot I give this benefit to others? Who takes shelter unto me, I will give them shelter. So this is the example Lord Ramchandra gives. Similarly is the nature of Mother Earth. So many evil activities are done on her, like drilling, taking out oil, committing extra crimes. And we saw that how Mother Earth, through mountains, rivers, trees, even though evil is done to them, they do not do these things in return. So at that time, there is a small interesting diversion from this pastime. After all this once this narration was being told by Ramanujacharya to his disciples, and all the disciples were listening while Ramanujacharya was saying how great Ramchandra is. He gave shelter, he gave surrender to Vibhishana. In fact, Ramayana is all about surrender. So he says, how great is Ramayana? So there was one personality, one disciple of Ramanujacharya who was sitting at the end of the lecture. He was sitting at the last row. He immediately got up. He said, what kind of personality is Lord Ramchandra? He is a disciple of Ramanuja. Okay. So he's saying, what kind of personality is Rama? This kind of surrender I don't want. And he started walking. Ramanuja was astonished. He said, Embar, his name was Embar. Embar, why are you walking away? Does your heart not melt looking at the quality of Lord Ramchandra? He has given shelter. Embar was one of us, like our Vanar Sena boys and girls. He used to call a spade a spade. Acha hai to acha hai, bura hai to bura hai. So Embar came forward and said, what are you telling Ramanuja? What are you telling spiritual master? What kind of surrender is this? A person came all the way, leaving his brother, not searching for his life. He came all the way, crossing the mighty ocean. He was told to stand at the gate. And he said, you cannot enter. No visiting pass, no nothing. You stand at the gate for 2 days. Then a committee meeting was called. Everybody sat together and did a committee meeting, and a question paper was given to everybody. And everybody had to give the answers, whether they have to be accepted, rejected, why to be accepted, why not to reject. A question paper and an examination was conducted. After the examination was complete, then there was a special jury kept for Hanuman, and Hanuman had to give a special jury and take a decision. After that, an anecdote passing of the judgment was spoken of the birds, and after passing the judgment of the birds, shelter and surrender was given. Who will follow such a big process? Time कहाँ है इतना सब करने के लिए? Hence, I reject this surrender. Ramanuja was very astonished. True, because all these things happened. It was not that I surrender and immediately giving surrender. Not like Krishna, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. You just fall at my feet, I'll give you surrender. Rama had so many things. But then Ramanujacharya asked, okay, that is for Vibhishan. But what about those four ministers? They didn't do anything. They just tagged along with him. So Embar said, yes, that is what I wanted to actually hear from you. If I come to the Lord, he might or might not give me surrender. He will actually do all these things. But if I tag along with you, Ramanujacharya, then I might get surrender. Just like the ministers, the four ministers who tagged along with Vibhishan, they got in free surrender unto the Lord just because they were with the associating with the devotee of Vibhishan. They got it for free. Similarly, when we associate with you, O Ramanujacharya, then we have a hope of surrender. Otherwise, we don't have a hope of surrender. This is an intelligent disciple. A disciple always finds ways to glorify his spiritual master. He always understands that without the mercy of the spiritual master, he cannot go anywhere. And hence, the role of spiritual masters are very, very important. And that is what this Avadhuta Brahmana is telling Yadu. He's telling that how it is important for us, how it is critical for us to understand that the spiritual masters in our life have the primordial importance. They are the primary importance for guiding us towards Krishna. So, after speaking about Mother Earth, he speaks about Vayu or air. We'll just speak about that and close the story today because we have to take your homeworks also and we have to hear from you. So, he says that my second spiritual master is none other than air or Vayu. So, what is the greatness of Vayu? It is said that Vayu has dual characteristics. Air, in general, has a characteristics of sustaining and also moving from one place to another. In this hot season, if we don't have AC or pankha, we all can know how difficult we will be. Sometimes Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi, I'm so happy that Krishna made Pandava Nirjala Ekadashi. Imagine, he says, Pandava Nirvayu Ekadashi. You can't even take a breath. Bapre. How many days we can stay? How much time we can stay? If you have broken any Ekadashi, you should not even take a breath for 24 hours. My God, gone. सुन के ही बेहोश हो गए, right? So Pandav Nirjala Ekadashi, it is coming in June. So get prepared. Not more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes, Vishaka, my God. 5 minutes. 5 minutes you can be without breath. Yeah, I do not know. I can I cannot even 1 minute. Yeah. So it's very difficult. That air is the one which is sustaining us every now and then. It is the one which keeps us afloat in this. It does creation at the same time, it is also there as nourishment. No one can replace Vayu, no one can replace prana air. So Vayu is there outside and also inside our body. Inside our body, we have five kinds of different air: prana Vayu, apana Vayu, all the different kinds of air. And when the air is imbalanced, we get bloating, we get belching, and we all don't know the proper circulation of the air is important within the body and similarly outside the body also. In the environment that we are, air plays a very important part. In fact, we can stay without food and water, but we cannot stay without air. And air is required even for everything, not only living entities, even the non living entities require air. Air is used for even cleansing, like vacuum cleaners. You use air to blow away dust, to pick up. So, air has multitudinal, different kinds of usages. But here, Dattatreya or the Avadhuta Brahmana is speaking about a very peculiar quality of air or Vayu. He is saying that if you look at Vayu, if you look at air, it is very unprejudiced. It is not having any prejudice. Why it is not having prejudice? It will flow everywhere. Sometimes when you are going by Lonavala during the rainy season, the air will flow from the mountains, carry those water droplets from the waterfalls, and it will sprinkle on your cheeks. And you will feel like this is the place where I have to be sitting and doing my 16 rounds of japa because I can't sleep. After every 2 minutes, somebody spraying some, sprinkling some water in my eyes. So I will never feel asleep. So you'll feel that this air is so beautiful. When we go next to the ocean, before the ocean waters hit our feet, the air, the wind, the gale, it hits our cheeks and we feel so energetic. That's such a beautiful wind is blowing by and the waves are caused due to the wind on the water and it's crashing and many people do surfing on the seas, and these are all because of wind. But at the same time, when we pass through some of the notorious gullies of Bombay, where there is filth and garbage to the most, air also passes through them. Or when we are actually driving on a 4-lane highway and our BMC's garbage truck is right in front of us, air also carries that stench of that garbage. We all know in the morning when the garbage truck comes, we all close our windows. Why? Because that stench of that putrid, rotten tomatoes and vegetables and so many ugly garbage things, that stench and foul also is carried by air. So, air, if you look at it, it's very unprejudiced. It doesn't say, oh, there is a garbage truck, I won't go. No, it goes. Whenever there is good things, it goes there also. And it carries along whatever comes along with it, but after some time it leaves those qualities there and remains unprejudiced. So just to say, when it goes through a perfume fragrant place, it carries the scent of that fragrance and gives it to us, and after sometimes it passes on. It doesn't stay there, it keeps on going and is odorless. No more that fragrance is there. Then it will enter the garbage truck, it will carry the stench and it will give the stench, and suddenly it will go away, it will remain odorless. So it is an unpartisan, it doesn't participate in any of those fragrance or stench. It is just a carrier, and it is never afflicted by these qualities. It is never afflicted, it is always still, and it moves in different directions. It is not still at one place, and it doesn't have any taste. And sometimes it will be very strong as a wind or a gale or a turbulence, just like recently we had typhoon Amphan falling at West Bengal and creating havoc. Sometimes it will be just a gentle breeze in the spring or the autumn season. So what does Avadhuta, the Dattatreya, learn from this air? He says that we should be just like the air, because this air represents the absolute truth. What truth? Sometimes truth is very pleasant, just like the air which when goes through the fragrance. Sometimes the truth is very, very harsh, just like the stench that it produces. But we should understand truth is never affected by the positive or the negative. Truth is truth. And we should never be ruffled by others. We sometimes, as devotees, we might go through difficulties. We might sometimes go through happy moments. Shitoshna samadukhada. We should be actually happy or distress. Happiness and distress, this comes and goes like summer and winter seasons. Similarly, like just like the air, the happiness and distress comes through different people. Sometimes people will be favorable towards us, sometimes people will be unfavorable towards us, but we should not be prejudiced. We should not be ruffled by others. We should always do the good, just like Mother Earth. Even though evil is done to them, we should always do the good. And then, whatever are the changes in the material world, we should not get disturbed by those changes. So many worldly disturbances and procedures should not disturb us, just like the air doesn't get disturbed. And the air also represents the spirit soul, which is free, which is got ultimately part and parcel of the Lord, and it is free to roam anywhere it wants. But at the same time, it should not get afflicted by material pleasures. Srila Prabhupada writes very brilliant purport on this. He mentions that we should not be attached to too much fried things. Very interesting purport he writes. While eating, sleeping, we should be careful. If we eat lot of fried things, he said we will sleep more, and that should not happen. A lot of belching will happen, a lot of Vayu imbalance will happen, and people will not be healthy. So Prabhupada says we should be very careful taking care of our body. And we should learn this quality from air, that it is totally unprejudiced, unpartisan, uninflicted, never still at one place, moves around in directions, but is never affected by the circumstances that it is actually surrounded with. The lessons for the devotees from air is that considering it as a spiritual master, we also should not be afflicted by material qualities, and we should be unpartisan, unprejudiced in our activities. So, this is the great learning that we learn from air. And the Avadhuta Brahmana tells King Yadu that we can learn from this. So, we have learned Mother Earth, we have learned air. In the next lecture, we will learn about sky and four other qualities. It will be a little more faster. I took the class a little elongated today because the last class was a little turbulent. I could not go deep because there were a lot of disturbances in the class. But I hope this makes more further and compact sense. So today we spoke about Vayu or air. The first five spiritual masters are the Pancha Mahabhutas. We will talk about them slow and steady. So this is the learning that we have, very interesting learnings that we have from Avadhuta Brahmana. We'll continue to churn them every week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So we stop here. Any questions, comments before we look into the verses, which is glorifying Mother Earth? And you can please speak on the microphone as well. Before people drop, let me know if I need to take the homework as well. Any questions, comments? No questions?
Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Prabhuji, you said that the air is unsteady and moves about everywhere. So,
Right.
how, as a student, should we apply this quality of air?
Yeah, very good question. So, how as a student we should apply this quality? So, there will be moments in our life when things will be favorable for our studies, things will be unfavorable for our studies. There will be moments in our life that even after studying so much, that first question paper, first question, when we get that question paper in our hand, the first thing we would be looking at is each other's faces and say, who the hell said the question paper? And sometimes we might study so hard, and that question paper, when we read it, we'll be like, why did I spend so much time to study if it was such an easy question paper? So all these moments are there in students' life, right? So there are positives and negatives which hit us every now and then. Sometimes we score the maximum in a subject, sometimes we score the least in a subject. Sometimes we are very happy to read about a subject, and sometimes we are very antagonistic towards another subject. So students always undergo this cycle of likes and dislikes which are coming from the mind. Just like the air, it also goes through various different contours or various different places on earth which are likable and dislikable. But the quality that it retains is it is always odorless, tasteless. It might get affected for some time, but at the end, it follows its basic natural motive. Similarly, the lesson that the students can learn is there are many positive and negative moments that come in our life due to our marks, due to our efforts. Even after putting effort, sometimes it might be a difficult question paper, sometimes it might be an easy question paper. Sometimes it gives us the result what we have put in, sometimes it doesn't give us the result. But nothing should break our determination to study and to excel in the activity that we have taken up, which includes spiritual study or material study. It doesn't matter. So we should be like the air where we should accept the truth. If it is foul or it is fragrant, just like the odor, we should accept the truth. But we should not lose the resolve to keep on going, to keep on um, following the path of putting our efforts. Does that answer the question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay. Okay, so then we will go into the next section, which is anybody who has collected some verses on Mother Earth would like to hear. Anybody want to take up the microphone and read through the verses? Or should I call out the names? So let me go one by one. So, Surabhi, you said yes. Do you have the verse or the meaning ready that you can read out? Yes, anyone? Surabhi, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, you can copy paste your anybody else who has. I don't want to put. Okay, Ravi has copy pasted from Bhagavatam. Let's read that sloka. Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th canto. Pranav has put that. Let's first read that from Pranav. 8th canto, 20th chapter, 4th verse. Nahi asatyat paro dharma इति होवच भूरियम् सर्वां सोदुम् मलं मन्ये ऋतेलीका param naram. Translation: There is nothing more sinful than untruthfulness. Because of this, Mother Earth once said, I can bear any heavy thing except a person who is a liar. That's very nice. That's a very good verse where Mother Earth is saying, I will tolerate everything, but I can't tolerate a lie. But then still she doesn't react. But that's good. Thank you very much, Pranav, for that. So another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 30th chapter, 10th verse. O Mother Earth, what austerity did you perform to attain the touch of Lord Keshava's lotus feet, which has brought you such great joy that your bodily hairs are standing on one end? You appear very beautiful in this condition. Was it during the Lord's current appearance that you acquired this ecstatic symptom, or was it perhaps much earlier when he stepped upon you in his form of the dwarf Vamandev, or even earlier when he embraced you in his form of the boar Varahadev? So beautiful. Actually, this verse is very very wonderful, where because it speaks about how Mother Earth is interacting with the Lord in much different ways. In fact, the last one of Varahadev is the most beautiful because there is a conversation between Mother Earth and Varahadev where Mother Earth says, my husband, first time he walks on me, second time he spitted me out during the creation, third time he ate me and he showed it to his own mother. Maybe Varahadev is the only person where he's taking care of me and I can converse with him. So such great fortune is Mother Earth that she has been walked upon, she has been spitted, she has been swollen. So many different things that Mother Earth goes through. So very beautiful shloka. Thank you for that. Anybody else who has done? Okay, let's go to the next one. Ishopanishad mantra 1. Isha vasyamisam sarvam yatkincham dagadam dagadat. Tena tektena bhunjita magrita kasya sviddanam. Translation: Everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and one must not accept other things knowing well to whom they belong. Hmm. How is it connected with Mother Earth? I think you are connecting it with everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe, because we heard in the lecture that it is a supporter of all life forms. However, in this verse it is mentioned for the universe, but nevertheless we will accept it. uh, thank you for that verse. Then there is another verse. Where is this from, Vishakha? Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandithe Vishnupatni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kamasvame. O Mother Earth, I offer my humble obeisances unto you, who are the wife of Lord Vishnu and the residents of oceans, and who are with decorated with mountains. Please forgive me for stepping upon you. Yes, this is from the Pancharatra Pradipa. In fact, it is said that we should first chant this shloka before stepping our foot out of the bed and keeping it on Mother Earth. She is forbearing us, and we have to ask this permission that we are walking on you. So this is very wonderful verse. We should memorize this verse. Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandithe Vishnupatni Namastubhyam Padasparsham Kamaswame. Very beautiful verse. O Mother Earth, I offer my humble obeisances unto you, who are the wife of Lord Vishnu and the residents of the oceans, and who are decorated with mountains. In fact, all the three things is what the Avadhuta is saying in Bhagavatam as well. Please forgive me for stepping onto you. And this is giving in Stuti Sadhanam, or book, which is there in Amazon Kindle as well. Very good. Anybody else? I think is more scrolling down. Very beautiful. Utkarsha says in Prithvi Stotram, it is said, you are the home of all types of crafts. From all kinds of cows uh, be done, she is going to give it to all the brides, and in time she also kidnaps all the brides. You are omnipotent in this world. Okay, it's a little confusing for me. You are the home of all types of crafts, from all kinds of cows be done. She's going to give it to all. Um, uh, she's going to give it to all the brides in time. She also kidnaps all brides. You're omnipotent in this world. Seems like a very sutric mantra, which I'm not understanding, but I think there should be something. Utkasha, maybe you should do a little more research. You got me interested there, but I do not know what does it mean by from all kinds of cows be done. She's going to give all the brides and in time. Seems like a secret. Yeah, we should get to know more. Anybody else? Okay, we have more verses coming in. Beautiful. Nikita gives Bhumirapho Nalo Vayu. Oh, I was thinking, who is going to tell this sloka? It's the most easiest. Bhumirapho Nalo Vayu, Kam Mano Buddhire Vacha, Ahankaram Hiti Me Bhinna Prakrtir Ashtadha. Bhagavad Gita 7.4, our ABCDs. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. These are the 8 components of my material energy. Very beautiful. And then 7.5, अपारेयम इतस्तन्यम प्रकृतिम विद्धि में परम जीवभूतम महाबाहो ययेध्यम धारयते जगत. Beside these, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is another superior energy of mind which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of material in nature, inferior nature. So that is talking about the jivas who are exploiting Mother Earth by drilling and all of that. Yes. But very good. But we'll take 7.4 because it's talking about direct of Mother Earth. Okay, and then Utkarsha says, तुम सब प्रकार के शास्त्रों के घर हो. Okay, yes, सब तरह से शास्त्रों में संपन्न हो. Okay, she's crafty and she's knows everything. सभी शास्त्रों की देने वाली हो तथा सम विषयों में समस्त शास्त्रों का अपहरण भी कर लेती हो. Okay, she's the giver of the crafts at the same time she's taker of the craft. इस संसार में तुम सर्वश रूपनी हो. Perfect, that makes sense to me. Thank you for the Hindi translation. Okay, Gauri says, Adau Mata Guru Pratni Brahmani Rajapatni ka Dhenur Dhati Tata Prithvim. Very beautiful. Saptadita Mata Smrta. One's own mother, the wife of the Guru, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a king, the cow, the nurse, and Mother Earth are known as the 7 mothers of Earth. Very beautiful shloka. Very nice. There are 7 mothers from mothers, so we just spoke about them. So very beautiful words. So what I want you to do, I want you to send all these slokas together. I'm going to make a Google document, so please put these slokas nicely, mail it to Nikita or mail it to Vishakha. I would say mail it to Nikita, so because she knows how I maintain my documents. We're going to come up with these 24 spiritual masters as a book, and we're going to find more shlokas on Mother Earth. So please continue your research on Mother Earth. Find those more shlokas. For the next time, now you have one more, which is Vayu. So please go onto the internet, go to the different scriptures. Doesn't matter which scriptures you pick up, it should have a direct relationship with glorifying Vayu or glorifying um, air in itself and how it acts. So you can pick up Krishna and the forest fire, and you can talk about Trinavrata and the wind and the gaze, and you can talk about pleasant breeze in autumn, how it happens in Vrindavan, or you could speak about the constant rain and thunder, and there are innumerable opportunities for you to go and find out. But thank you very much. For those, especially who have not found out verses, I would encourage you at least try to find out some verses. There will be verses for everyone in the Shastras. It's just that we have to go and find them. Once again, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you for joining us today on this class. We'll see you next Sunday talking about the next spiritual master in the series. Hare Krishna.